Guys. For those who just joined, we'll start in about 2-3 minutes. First of all, if you're based in Bangalore and you were there at the hackathon event last Saturday, thanks for coming. What we're going to do today is we'll spend just 5 minutes talking about our work at People+ai, giving a bit of an introduction, and then post that. We'll do a lot of time spent in presenting both the problem statements as well as answering any questions that you might have. We have Sonika and Vishnu, who are leading both those projects that will help provide any clarifications. Yeah. Most of the calls we typically do, we start with introductions, but I think there are about 80 people that have registered for this call. And if you introduce everyone, we'll not actually get to any of the problem statements. So sorry about that, but we'll jump straight into work-related things today. Also, do you know after this, are we going to publish this on YouTube? Something, make it available for even if people who couldn't come?
We'll need to figure that out, but I'll let everyone know.
Yeah, maybe we can just publish this for the next month, just in case anyone wants to go back and some of the things.
Yeah, we could do something like that.
And yeah, then we can pull it off our YouTube channel post that.
Sure.
Okay. Cool. I think we're good to go ahead and get started. First of all, thanks for joining, everyone who joined early. We will probably have another 20-30 people joining, but they'll catch up as they come in. My name is David. I lead programs at People+ai. Essentially, one of the, yes, this is already being recorded. In fact, you might have got a notification. And with we'll publish this on YouTube or somewhere just so that you can go back and watch this video again if needed. Today, what we're going to do is with the context for this call is largely that we're doing a hackathon with Google and DevFolio. It's going to be, I think the last date to submit your problem statements is the 25th of September, so about 11 more days. And we want to do 2 calls in this Saturday and next Saturday to basically walk participants over a deeper understanding of the problem statements, any questions you might have, creative ideas that you could run by us, and provide as much guidance as possible. One of the things we fundamentally believe is don't build alone. It's very, very hard to build a great solution in a silo, sitting by yourself, just writing lines of code. I've just rarely seen it work, frankly. And that's what we fundamentally believe at People+ai. People+ai is a not-for-profit that is building what we call as population scale use cases. So essentially, what that means is the type of AI solutions that we hope can scale to millions and then eventually billions of people in India and beyond. We started our work about a year ago, and since then we've run a fellowship. In fact, Sonika and Vishnu that will be presenting today are fellows with People+ai, and both the projects listed are 2 of the main project use cases that we're looking at very actively. Apart from that, we do several things. I'm not going to give a long introduction because a lot of what I'm saying can actually be found online. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you where, if any of you ever want to know more about People+ai, this is our website. And right over here, there's a page called Know More. And on this page, there are probably 2-3 things you can look at. This is like for those who like to read up on the various types of work happening. We have what's called a People+ai thesis. And we work across several different tracks. So say we have a startup track. We have a lot of use cases that we publish. In fact, today we'll mainly focus on the use cases. Can someone else from the People+ai team just keep admitting people?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Cool. And yeah, and so we have some media work that we do. We also have various domains that we're working across, like health, climate, smart cities, education. For today's call, we'll mainly focus on climate and smart cities. Um, and along with our thesis work, we have public projects. We have currently about 180 active volunteers across these projects. So a lot of our projects are like open source and crowdsourced. So we have public contributors that are constantly working on these projects every week. About, I think, 1,800 people have signed up to just be a part of our community, but we also have about 200 active volunteers that are working with us every week. And these are across these projects. So the ones that we'll be looking at and the ones that we submitted to the Google Hackathon is ConsumeWise, which we've already actually got many questions of ConsumeWise. So I know some of you are working on ConsumeWise and City AI Engine. So Vishnu and Sonika will be presenting those projects. I just wanted to show you all of this so that you can eventually go online and get a picture of our larger work. But with that being said, I'll stop over here. If anyone has any very high level questions, maybe we can spend 2-3 minutes on questions, but then the rest of this time, I'd love for Sonika and Vishnu to then talk about their projects, and we'll do a real deep dive into those projects. So there'll be a lot of time to ask questions related to the projects. But just any high level question related to our work um, in the next minute or so. Yep, go ahead, Vishnu.
Good morning. Actually, I have participated in Gen AI Hackathon, and I am working on ConsumeWise.
Okay.
Problem statement 2, the health analysis one.
Yeah.
My concern was I was in Discord server for Gen AI Hackathon, and the people there are stating that we are not supposed to use any other API than the Google API. So do we have any picture on that one? Because for our project, we are using an open source API for databasing. So what are you supposed to do for that?
I mean, you'll have to go and check the exact rules of the
Nothing has been mentioned on the website for the same.
Okay, let me check in with the Google team. I know for obviously you'll have to use Gemini APIs as your base, LLM APIs. But I'm sure there should be provision to use various like translation services or databasing. I don't know if that.
Yeah. That was the main query I had, because getting data for every ingredient or every packaged food or every food would be
Okay,
very good if there is an formatted method. So I'm using an open API for that.
sure.
So I'm not actually very sure if Gemini AI would be able to provide that much of accuracy and image also for the same product locally.
Yeah. Fair. No, and we will address a lot more of this. I know Sonika will have some of the provide clarity on some of these things. So we'll address that as we get into the projects.
Sure,
Vijay, do
sure,
you
sure.
have a question?
Yeah, that was the question.
Ah,
If it would be cleared, it would be very
yeah.
helpful for
Yeah.
us.
So we'll clarify that piece. I think Vijay also has his hand up. So Vijay, you want to go ahead?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, I just have one question. See, I saw the project,
Okay.
but what is expectations are there? We will be connected with you team members and work upon the project, or we will separately develop the idea and work upon it, then submit it there. I just want to make clarity on that part of it. Can you help me out?
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's precisely why we're having this call, so that we can essentially not work alone. So here's essentially the structure of this hackathon that Google organized. For a certain phase, we'll provide clarity in terms of like the publicly stated problem statements, and then we'll have these calls to answer questions down and provide support. Along with that, you can drop us emails and hopefully, like if it's not like too much of an email load, you'll hear from us within the day with responses on questions that people might have. We also have another open house called next Saturday. So we're doing 2 of these calls where people can come and ask several questions. But post the submission, what will happen is that I think 5 to 10 of the top teams on each problem statement across the hackathon will be shortlisted, and then our team will be working with them very closely in actually building out these final solutions. Um, So I hope that gives you clarity. So right now we're just doing like kind of crowdsourcing and doing larger calls to provide high level information. But then with the shortlisted teams, we'll also be doing daily mentorship sessions. I think that'll be from October onwards, the first week of October onwards. So we have the rest of September, which is basically like the wider hackathon piece. And then October onwards will be like direct mentorship sessions.
So what I understand, the first phase we have to navigate it. Once we are in second phase, probably then we have more mentorship from your side. Is that right? Okay? Thank you. Thank you for the information. Yeah.
I mean, and we're trying to like even bridge that gap right now. Like we don't want to just publish a problem statement online and leave people to guess like what we're thinking. Which is why we're doing calls like this. We're happy to. I think Vishnu and Sonika have both made little videos about their projects that we'll share this week as well. So as much information and clarity as we can provide, we're more than happy to do that. But then the mentorship sessions will start October onwards. Let me pause here for the sake of time, and I'm gonna then now jump into the project pieces. So between Vishnu and Sonika, who's going first? What we'll do is we'll present one project, and we'll ask, and like all the questions related to that one project, we'll go with first, and then we'll present the next project, and then whoever has questions for City AI Engine, keep that for when Vishnu is presenting, and whoever has questions related to ConsumeWise.
David, let's actually do it the other way around, because then City AI Engine folks will have to wait till the end of the call.
Sorry, what do you mean? Like present
Like both of the presentations happen back to back.
You want to do that? Okay, sure, that works. So let's jump in with the presentations, and then we'll answer. We'll do an open house and have as many questions.
Okay, I'll start. Okay. Hello, folks. Hi. Quickly sharing my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah, and can you guys see your Canva presentation? Can you guys see your Canva screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, guys. I'll do like a quick intro to the project, ConsumeWise. Why are we building it and what are we expecting? The first thing that I want to start with at a very high level, just what's the larger vision or the goal of why we're building this? And that's simply to help people, nudge people to make more conscious consumption choices, which is healthier, sustainable, and socially responsible. That's just the larger purpose of even picking up this problem statement. Yeah, just some news articles to reiterate the problem. And from a climate and sustainability point of view, also generally these things will never be spoken about, right? We'll always have a larger impact, like energy or fossil fuel. Will sort of go in that domain, but we never think about the impact of these very small products, which can be quite large. So yeah, that's why we're doing this. I also quickly want to touch upon the long-term vision, like the 5 to 10-year vision of what ConsumeWise could look like. And I wanted to do this since People+ai has a very different approach to problem solving. It's not a regular startup. Since it's what we build is known as digital public infrastructure, the ConsumeWise in 10 years would look like, say, a decentralized product cataloging system that allows for more transparency and providing verified health and sustainability impact of products to consumers. That's sort of where we want to get to. Quickly coming to what we're doing now, like the current simple use case that we're going after at the moment is building a very simple smart label reader. What we're solving for people is simplifying the packaging, because a lot of it is jargon for people to understand, and unpacking that information in terms of health, like what does it mean actually, how much sugar are you consuming, how much fat are you consuming, all of that. So yeah, the current scope of solution is just which is going after packaged food products and just doing health analysis. The data points that we're using is what is already declared by the manufacturers. Yeah, and just to solidify what we're solving. I don't know if you guys have seen this food farmer guy who's busting myths and who got famous for busting myths around Bonita. It's very similar to what he is doing for people, like helping them understand the label. So yeah, this is the current use case that we are sort of taking to market and getting POC on. So here, we have, like our team has broken this down into 3 different tech challenges. The first one to solve for is getting the most updated and accurate data of products, even though it's available on packaging. What's the best? There are some open APIs available to get this data, but we haven't found a very credible one that we can use. So that's sort of one thing that we're trying to work on or fixing. The second large piece of this is providing the analysis, right? Now we're going after health or even sustainability or whatever. And this especially in health, there are different schools of thoughts. It's also very subjective to the user and very personalized. So what's the most scientific and credible way of providing this information and providing this analysis to people? In the current use case, or in the current POC that we're building, we've been very wary and we've been very particular about not charting into areas where there can be subjectivity. Like we're just going with stating absolute facts and so that's how and it's quite a narrow scope at the moment. And the third one to solve for, when I say user centricity, it encompasses multiple things. One is obviously one thing that we've realized, for this to work, it has to reach the user at the point of decision making where they don't have to get out of their existing flow of when they're ordering stuff or ordering their grocery. That's one. The second aspect of this is providing very personalized information, because health it's very subjective to each person. That's the second layer to this. And the third layer to this is also solving for accessibility, right? Like one simple feature or functionality is just like multilingual labels. Right now, everything is just in English, where the label may not be accessible to a lot of people. So these are the sort of 3 different areas that we're focusing on. Sorry, did someone raise their hand? Anyway, I'm just going to continue.
No, Sonaki, you can go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to put this down for the sake of clarity, that what should the solution look like, right? So here, the end user can either be the end consumer who's ordering grocery, or it can also be different businesses that it might be relevant to, like say a marketplace or say an app like Healthify Me. So if we're building for the end consumer, our solution could be in the form of, say, these are just examples, okay? These are just to sort of get you thinking. Nowhere are we saying that it should be this. It could be anything. It could obviously be a web app. It could also be a WhatsApp bot, or it could be a plugin or anything. Like that's what the solution could look like if you're going to build for the end consumer, and that would be an end-to-end solution. Alternatively, we could also just solve for certain pieces, right? We could just solve for data, or we could just solve for one piece of it and see that, okay, it could be plugged into relevant businesses. So that's just like how we can approach the solution, or how we're approaching the solution. We were getting a lot of questions on what is happening currently or where we are in the project. So I just wanted to put this down, that currently we're in the phase of getting POC. So building a very small proof of concept. And this is what our architecture looks like. Our data collection, currently we're building a manual database of, say, certain to just get started, and then we'll crowdsource it, get it from users. And what we're getting them to do is give us product images or links of product images, and then we're extracting all of that information. So that's our data collection pipeline. On the back end, so we're going with prompt engineering, and we're currently working with OpenAI. So we've designed we've done a lot of research in terms of health analysis, and we've defined certain frameworks, and we're feeding that, we're prompt engineering it, and then building sort of wrappers on it. And current front end, a very simple front end that we're going with, is a WhatsApp bot. So that's how our what our POC looks like. This is just just a quick glance of the different analysis or algorithm pieces that we build. And if you see, I've divided this because of the main source of information. The 2 main sources of information is nutrition and ingredients. So your analysis can be either based on either of those or both of those. And all of this, if you see, it's either very factual information or it's based in the sources ICMR. Yeah, so these are, I'm not getting into the depth of it in the interest of time, but if anybody's interested, we can take this up later. You guys can mail us and we can share the analysis and the framework with whoever's interested. This is a quick video that I wanted to play. No. Is this playing? It's not playing, no?
No, it's not.
How do I figure this? Because when I'm trying to play, it's going to the next slide.
Sunny, do you have the
Okay.
video? Sanika, do you have the video saved locally on your?
I do. Let me just. Okay. Is my screen still shared?
Yeah, we're looking at Arc.
Okay, 1 minute. I'm just gonna quickly stop sharing and then open the video. Give me a minute. Can you guys see it here?
Yeah, we can see it now.
And can you guys hear it?
No, just we are able to see it.
Okay, you guys can't hear it. Anyway, I'll just explain.
We just post a link on the chat maybe, so that way people can.
Yeah. Okay, let me do that. Okay. Okay, 1 minute. I will do that. Sorry for the hiccup, guys. Yeah, and this was also shared in the problem statement anyways. Everybody has access to this. I will quickly move on. I'll not then everybody can see it in their own time. I will, yeah. So it's just a simple functionality that we build where people, if the claims that are mentioned on packaged products, say sugar-free or brown bread or keto-friendly, it verifies if it's actually misleading or not. Like say if a sugar-free product is actually sweet, it has some alternative, right? So it sort of checks that. So that's the functionality. I wanted to put this that just for research purposes, that similar solution. The first three are the private apps that exist in India that are doing very similar sort of analysis. One open database that we found most credible was Open Food Packs, where you can get your data, whatever's available on packaging, and it has Indian products also. And one sort of similar idea in this sort of domain is like this Nutri-Score public rating system that exists in Singapore. So just wanted to map and give you a sense of, okay, this is what exists at the moment. Yeah, I think that's it from my side. Questions?
Let's move on to Vishnu and then.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Vishnu, you're not audible.
No, we can't hear you. We can see your screen, we can see you, but we can't hear you. Nope. No, we can't hear you. I think your mic is not connected properly or something.
Is it?
Yep, works.
Am I audible now?
Yep.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay.
Am I audible? Hey, you're audible.
He can't hear us.
Vishnu, we can hear you, but you can't hear us.
No, I think I am. Yeah, there are some issues. Now I can hear you guys well. So
Okay.
yeah, maybe something's wrong with the headphones. No worries. So yeah, hello everybody. So I'm going to quickly give a brief about City AI Engine and what we are working on here. So the main problem statement, as we are seeing, is in India, cities are very much unorganized, and India is moving to be an heavily urbanized country, and we are already the second most urbanized country, with our population living in cities already equivalent to the entire population of USA combined, to give a context. So we are moving to a lot of urbanization, and especially in tier 2s and tier 3s, we have this is a decade-old data. We had like 3,700 cities. So adjusted to projections, we have close to like 4,000 plus urban areas of including tier 2s and tier 3s. So and we do not have proper frameworks or urban planning or management frameworks that exist. So we are constantly driving towards issues like traffic, water shortage, infrastructure deficiencies, etc. So one of the main reasons that we kind of found out, and our theory is to make good decisions, we would be needing data, and cities usually generate enormous amounts of data, but that remains in unstructured formats like silos, and every department has their own data. And also, if even outside governance, there's a lot of data that gets generated on a daily basis that we usually do not leverage or make use of. So this would be leading to many other issues, like especially data related. We could see air pollution being a problem. Just not being able to measure that impact and visualize it is causing driving towards a lot of issues. So as we see in a general ideal utopian framework, if we break down the skeleton of a city, how a city would work is it would need three main things: policies, plans, and management. And there are two bridges that connect it, which is a lot of data, structured and good quality data, as well as decisions that are made upon data. So we are exactly trying to solve this situation using City AI engine. What we are trying to develop is a framework that allows you to scrape, synthesize, visualize, and analyze data that is fragmented across silos, so that either citizens or decision makers, everybody could make proper decisions that are very proactive decisions, rather than reacting to something that has already gone wrong. So in the larger scheme of things, what are we trying to achieve, right? Like, especially when we keep talking about issues like traffic or water scarcity that are keeping up coming, are we going to individually solve all of them? No, but can we create an intelligent platform or a backbone that kind of can power a city, which will help decision making easier? And it can empower your decision makers, citizens, and even businesses, right? They would also be needing certain scale of like, where should I put my shop or something like that. So all of these intelligence, like spatial intelligence, is what we are especially trying to create. So again, who are we building this for? Who are our major personas? We have three main personas: decision makers, citizens, and citizen action groups that we are targeting as main stakeholders for now. As decision makers would include your governments, municipalities, and even think tanks or some consultants who advise to governments, right? So they would be needing a lot of data. And can citizens use the same thing to either get better access about their information, and cities can they also contribute to this data without a lot of friction? And also citizen action groups to drive impact and keep decision makers as well as governments accountable. So can we do this at scale is the question that we are trying to ask. And currently the way we are approaching is we are building two POCs, two proof of concepts to show this reality. So the first one, this PPT is already linked in, this deck is linked in my charter that is given in the problem state in the Devfolio website. You can go through there and see the Loom link to see this in working. But essentially what we are trying to build is a tool that can take unstructured data. For example, here is an example of a statistical handbook that has like 120 pages of information, and it is just tables with like you have gold mine of information that you cannot do anything because it's just tables, right? So can we are trying to create a prototype by merging this with open source spatial data and creating dashboards on the fly. And this whole data merging and synthesis is done currently by LLMs by understanding unique identifiers as well as the data points that are common across attributes. So, and this way what we are doing is just with this kind of document that essentially exists for every district and city, we are generating these dashboards / interactive ways to visualize and analyze their data at scale. So this is our approach. This is one of our POC we are building, which is the profiling tool. You can see the link in the charter document. And the second one, this is more of a citizen-facing tool, which we are trying to build, is called the Vision Intelligence tool, where we are basically trying to develop the functionality to understand and grade an image-based, grade a service based on just an image. For example, we are testing it out with Footpath as an example, where we are training VLMs, vision language models, basically on how to semantically assess walkability parameters, and just through photographs and locations taken at one point, can we understand how good or bad that footpath is on a scale of 0 to 100, and can we do it at scale so that we can create a heat map of where there are good footpaths and bad footpaths in Bangalore. So that is one of the example. That is one of the use cases that we are trying to work on. So these are both our POCs. So on this theme, we basically the problem statements that we want everybody here to contribute is basically three major problem statements when we are breaking down, which is data integration. With can you develop more methods to synthesize these diverse data sources? And these data sources could be anything, right? We could essentially create proxies out of anything these days with the help of AI. Like, can satellite imagery and heat that is coming from remote sensing data can be one. As one thing we are testing, just photographs and the quality of service could be one. So can we integrate all these diverse data sources? Even social media posts or news articles can be one. So the possibilities are endless there. Can we do that? And in the second one, we are seeing how can we build more platforms or mechanisms to crowdsource large scale of information, large scale information, right? Can we help citizens themselves without adding a lot of friction just through their mobiles, or sort of gamify that system so that they can contribute more open access information without compromising on their PIIs? And the third one is, once we have all this data, how do we visualize it, right? Currently, all the visualization as well as this analysis part of it is locked to consultants and high-level authorities, etc. So even they do not have enough capacity, neither time or resources to do all this, which is again causing to the first problem, which the decisions that are taken are not based off data. So can we create and simplify that and ease that visualization access? So what you can build, essentially we are, it's the same thing, like can we build data integration solutions, solutions that can help you crowdsource information and also help you visualize information better. So that's, you can know more about the project that we have a GitHub repo, as well as you can go to our product page or the devfolio page. We have a project, what we call as a project charter, where all the resources as well as all the links to slides, what we have already done, are out there in the open. Feel free to check them out. And if you're having any issues, please let us know. Please feel free to contact us. And so that's from my side. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Vishnu. We'll move on to questions. We have one Vijay who's had his hand up for a while now. We'll go to that first, and then we'll take the questions in the Q&A section on the Google Meet.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I think probably one the challenge ConsumeWise, which Sonalika was mentioning it looks very interesting to me. And just for information, I was looking into big basket that some of the breads are there, which says that 0 maida, but if you see the ingredient, it contains the maida, right? And I also came across one incident when this corporation files the legal battle to file those things. So do you have any protection against the activism, this kind of activism which you are doing? Probably we are thinking of it to fight this corporations, or any legal aid will be there, or how accurately we are going to handle this kind of situations, probably if we go forward in that direction. So my question in that regard.
Currently, if you see the one POC that we put out it with a legal disclaimer that okay, it's subject to. I mean, so right now I'd say that we're focusing on the project, but once we're thinking of taking it to market, we'll figure that how should we have a legal team in place. That's okay. That should not be a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, can I also add, like, see, look, not everything necessarily is an AI use case. So, like, misinformation sometimes, like legal and policy around it, it might just be like having better regulation systems. What we're hoping to do, like, with regards to the AI use case, is to be able to help consumers make better choices. So, we're trying to reduce that misinformation gap.
Thanks for the information. Yeah, thank you.
I think Denver also wanted to answer a couple of questions that's already there on chat.
Hey everyone. Yeah, nice to be here. I think somebody asked for the link to the Discord server. I just shared it on the chat. And then the other question was, what about projects that are not anchored by People+ai? Will we get similar connects with the sponsors? So the answer there is the Google team is working on facilitating that, and we should hear from them soon.
Vishnu, we have a question on TAI in the chat.
Yeah, so that Ashish, thank you for the question. So it does not need to be. So we to demonstrate, we are using this footpath as well as these PDFs as an example to say this can be done at scale. You can make sure you can feel free to pick any sort of urban problem that is relevant to a city, right? Like it could be traffic, it could be water supply, it could be general like you feel free to pick any sort of infrastructure or anything that affects urban quality of life. You're free to choose.
Okay, Vishnu, a quick question. Sorry to interrupt. We're looking at a few questions, and a part of the solution will depend on the data sets that we get access to. So can we run the problem statement that we finally decide on with you and then take a call from there?
Absolutely, sure.
Yeah, that would be great. Thanks.
I think there is one for ConsumeWise, no?
Yeah.
Is making an app more preferable over a web-based prototype or a website for ConsumeWise? I think my user research so far has been that getting people to download another app, especially and getting them to use it while they're on another app shopping, is quite tricky. And while I showed you guys that there are 3 apps or websites that already exist that are doing that, the adoption rate is quite low of that. So yeah, I'd say definitely not an app. Web app, maybe, but again, my hypothesis is that an app or a web app, people are least likely to come on one of those, and I think that's the biggest challenge. Like that's one of the bigger challenges to reach them where they are. Does that answer your question, Sarthak? Okay.
Cool. Vishnu, Shaurya has a question. Are you looking at existing solutions created in other countries or by other people and organizations?
Yes, like we are also especially taking inspiration from a couple of projects like Singapore has a great thing. Singapore's Urban Redevelopment Authority, URA, has a great way to sort of visualize all this information. Their APIs are all out there in the open, and even in the European Union, there are certain projects like City SDK, which has been put up. But one of the issues that lies in translating some sort of a Western solution to and trying to force fit it into Indian context, which is way more complicated, and the scales are massively different. So is again, when we try to do this as well, we always bump into this roadblock saying, "Yeah, data ही नहीं है, कहाँ से कर दो ये सब?" So yes, we are trying to look at those things, but if you want to if you have some sort of idea that you want to sort of retrofit a solution outside which leverages AI to India, feel free to do that, but make sure it is addressing the correct concerns. I hope that answers your questions. Sure.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Vishnu.
I think Rushil had his hand up on ConsumeWise.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
actually wanted to learn more about Sarthak's question. If we are not supposed to develop an application or a web application, then on what technology are we supposed to work? Is it supposed to be any bot, or what exactly do we have to do in that scenario?
Okay, so I was hoping that that's where people get creative. Like right now, we're working on a WhatsApp bot, or a plugin is another option. We haven't been able to figure out a feasible solution. Like, see, most people get their grocery on their phones, right? Like on your, if in Bangalore, on your Blinkits and your big baskets and all of that. Is there a way to reach people while they're on the app somehow? Like not through the app, but direct to the consumer. Like if we were hoping that people would get creative with this. I mean, an app and web app is always an option. It's not like you can't do it. But yeah, that has been sort of our hypothesis. Yes, Sumit.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So why would it make sense to make something which is then, say, a plugin to all these apps directly, which sort of gives the consumer a good indication of what the product is, what they're buying, and again, being wise about their consumption, effectively.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, or maybe or every product which is essentially being bought has a Nutri score. For example, if you have A, B, C, D, E, it's just along with the product. You know, there are all these. When you go buy something, there are like when you go to a restaurant, you have a spicy icon next to it, or a vegetarian icon next to it. So something which says A, B, C, D, E on the Nutri score, for example.
Yeah.
Every product can be tagged that way, which can be like I'm sure SKUs are standard SKUs, which everyone then uses effectively.
Correct.
Right. So there must be a central database of all consumer products that is there, and then everybody sort of plugs into those APIs. Right.
Yeah.
And is there a opportunity then to, in those APIs, in the master database list, can we then add the Nutri score, which then gets automatically picked up by any consumer app or any ordering app for that matter. Which can be just a plug and play. So if you're in the master register of all products or all SKUs, we can add the Nutri score.
Yeah, like that would be layers.
Some an additional layer there.
Correct. That's the idea.
That's the intent, right? Is that what we're trying to do?
Yeah, that's it. You got it right.
I know this is not my area of work, as you already know, but I thought I'd come in and
thanks for summing that up, Sumit. That helped.
Right.
Rushil, are you good with the answer?
Yeah, I'm actually good with that answer. And I had one more query. You are the website you have shown, the ConsumeWise.people.ai, the misleading one. Are we allowed to use that in our project?
Yeah. We've also shared the API in the Google Hackathon.
Because the question number, I guess, 6th one in health analysis, the 6th point is, are there any misleading claims? So for that, I have directly integrated your API only.
Yeah. We've shared the API. You can please feel free to use it.
Okay. Thank you. I'm done.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Rafat had a question on City AI. Vishnu.
Yes, Rafat. In the Devfolio website, just a clarification, those are just some of the example we have provided to see you can do this. But again, we are not limiting you to any sort of infrastructure or any case. But essentially, you can definitely choose any problem regarding services, urban planning, anything. So, yes. Thank you. Niranjan, CTI problem statement is too early, feels ahead of its time. I mean, I would take that as a compliment, but it's also, I am an urban planner myself, and when I was in the field, one of the main things that we have noticed is that like this is one of a big bottleneck that exists, and we just cannot do nothing about it and say, you know, so this is one of our efforts to actually reach that future a little earlier. So yeah.
You done, Shubham? No, sorry, Vishnu. Shubham, does the database for ConsumeWise need to be very large? The initial database of products, ideally, yes. That's what makes it effective, makes the solution effective. Even if it's not large in the beginning, like for us right now, it's not a very large data set. So now we're allowing consumers the option of giving us the information and getting the information right. Just for the effectiveness of the solution, ideally it should be large.
I think for ConsumeWise Sonica, I think we should also look at obviously for food products, like food consumption product. Are we only looking at that, or are we looking at general consumption in general? Because then every product that you buy is not something that is consumed, which doesn't have a nutrition label, right?
So currently, in the current use case, we're only looking at food products because they're going after health and packaged food.
Correct.
But the larger vision is all consumer products, and it's not just health impact. We would also like to take into account
Environmental
impact, all of that. Correct.
Exactly. So if you're buying a toothbrush, then say what is the composition of plastics in it, right? And what is the recyclability index? So something like that, right? Highly recyclable, poor recyclability and stuff. So I think something like that would be the future product vision, right? So maybe one product could have 2 or 3 different aspects to it. One is obviously if it is consumption. If it is not consumption, then it is the emissions that have gone into production, and what is the recyclability of it and stuff. So a sustainability index perhaps for non-food products.
Correct. And there's a lot more to this. Like right now, our data input is just what's publicly available. You can get a lot more into depth of it and get more data that's not from different sources. So there's a lot that can happen eventually.
Yeah. So it's an ESG score essentially at some level. Beyond nutrition, it will be
ESG, but
somewhere in that direction.
Sure.
Loosely in that sort of space.
Yeah. I think there are more questions on City AI.
I think Shubham had a follow-up. Sonica.
I was thinking of using Neo4j, but it has some limitations for free version.
Love, could you pick that up? I think it's a technical question, Love.
Hey, were you trying to create graphs, trying to use that for Neo4j?
Shubham says yes.
Okay. What was the problem?
So actually in the free version, it has some limitations.
Okay, so this is restricting your initial data set, is it?
Yeah, actually we have to gather the data and put it in a graph format. So there are some limitations that this much nodes and this much edges can be kept in the server for the free version.
Yes, so it's like Google Cloud, like you said, some premium. I think after a certain point, you will have to buy it.
Yeah.
My non-tech answer to you would be, Shubham, that if I don't know what's the whole scope of solution that you're building. If you're not, say, solving for data, if you're solving for other things, and then right now, if you don't have a very expensive data set, it's fine. Somebody else could be solving for that problem.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Niranjan, I'm assuming your question is for CTI engine. Is it for the data schema, metadata, everything? Or is it related to consumers? If you clarify, would you clarify that? Both the problems. So for CTI engine, especially Yes, currently there are no standardizations or any protocols that exist on how data is stored, transmitted, etc. That would have had solved a lot of issues already. But so yes, you are free to choose your own schema and how are you storing the data. Make sure it's very, very like easy to plug and play with the larger or other source of information, right? Again, if you are extracting information and make it harder to accessible, that's one of the issues. So try to keep it as open as possible and as adaptable as possible. So, and if you want, feel free to, you can go through our project docs and and see how we are storing the database as well. For example, all our outputs for both the tools that I sort of said are GeoJSON repositories or geo packages. So which are open source and they can be used by any application across. So yeah, feel free to choose your own metadata as well, or you can choose ours as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I think for me also, I would not have a very elaborate answer, but currently we don't have a very robust uh, way of like data architecture of how we will be storing that data, all of the information. We've not worked on it. So we were also, if you see our problem statement, we also put that down as a problem statement. We can work on that and what's the data architecture. So yes, participants could work on that.
Great. Looks like we've run out of questions to answer, which is a good thing. But even if you guys want to like brainstorm ideas off of each other, that's great. And if you have any technical questions, we have Love here. I think only Love from our team who can answer. I think Love and Vishnu here who can answer those questions.
Nirvan is also a volunteer on CTI.
Yeah, there are two ConsumeWise volunteers also. There's Yash and there's Rushiraj. They can also answer. Yeah.
Yep. Yes, it's also there. Yes.
I think Rushiraj was trying to say something.
No, just
Yeah, they can also answer.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, Sonika, Vishnu, could you drop your email addresses? Yes. Yeah, please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And for the future ones, we'll make sure that DevFolio is also on the call, so we can have high-level hackathon level questions also answered.
You can also reach us out on our LinkedIn's as well. So email, LinkedIn, anything.
We'll put the recording up on YouTube. So if you go to our YouTube channel, it'll be available there.
Yeah, and we'll have it done immediately. We'll have it done in like an hour after now.
Thanks, awesome. Niranjan, I didn't get your question. Who was it for?
I think Niranjan was initially looking at Vishnu's problem statement. So Vishnu, can you just check on that thread?
Yeah. So what's the success and or objectives people want to take out of this competition? I mean, from generally, if you could, I mean, there's a lot of energy and enthusiasm that is coming from everybody who is already signing up for a hackathon, right? So if you were to challenge on like essentially, if you from a CTI engine perspective, right? If you could contribute to this larger picture of making open data and like easing up the decision-making framework, any sort of tool, platform, visualization, any attribute that you would build, if you could contribute that and make it a little easier for the data to flow and that could aid in decision making. I think that is a big, we see it as a huge success, and how it is stored and how open it is and how interoperable it is with other sources. Those are the main metrics we see as success. So if that answers your question, Niranjan.
David, do you want to pick that up? So Soham's
For
question.
the grants and funding. Yeah, so a few things we do provide. In terms of funding, it depends. Like if there's an organization that is picking it up, then long term, yeah, we'd love to figure out how we can support, these problem statements going into market. But along with that, we then, if like say if someone has built a prototype version and then is looking to build this longer term. So see, the hackathon is for 2-3 weeks. Post that, if someone wants to work on these problem statements longer term and actually take it to the market, we'd love to figure out a way to support them. Then, but that will be a conversation that we have to have then with the person and see what their plans are with the solution, and then accordingly scope it out.
Soham, I hope that answers your question. Shaurya, that's good to hear. I've shared a list of all projects that we're working with. So you might want to take a look at that.
Yeah, you'll find that on our website as well. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. And I'm going to put my email in the chat. If you have any questions, feel free to drop an email and we. Okay, great. Asas put it. And yeah, any questions, just drop an email and we'll try to respond to you within the day. But just let us know it's for the Google Hackathon thing, so we have some context to it. Alrighty. Great. Thanks, everyone. Have a great Saturday, and we will see you again next week. You can register on the same Luma page for the next session. It might be similar to this. So if you've got most of your questions answered, you don't need to come again. But you're more than welcome to anyway. Next Saturday, same time. We'll see you there.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you.
This is great.